Hi, everybody. Welcome again to Enjoy English School. I'm Bruce.
I'm Anthony.
We are on day 2 now of a 2-day program. The destination will be a place you want to travel to, and it's going to be far away. You don't go to the store. That's not a destination. But the mountains of Japan, for most people, would be a destination. That's what we started to talk about yesterday, and we'll give you much more information about them today. Especially how Zao Mountains, Juhyo, are in danger of disappearing. Well, we found out how wonderful, how magical, how miraculous these natural snow sculptures are. And now we learn they may be in danger of disappearing. We won't be able to see them anymore. Let's find out more about that.
The Snow Monsters of Japan. Visitors and scientists have taken an interest in the Juhyo for many years. The first photo of a snow monster was taken in 1921. People have always been curious about how they can see these sights because they are very impressive. However, some people are concerned that the snow monsters are not looking as good as they used to. The Juhyo of the Zao Mountains require very special weather conditions to form, and climate change is beginning to have an effect on them. Scientists and hikers have been keeping records of where and when the Juhyo used to be. They then compared these records to the present situation. They discovered that the habitat suitable for the Juhyo is getting smaller every year. The time period to see them is also getting shorter too. In Japan, the average temperature is now 1.3 degrees higher than it was in the early 20th century. If the warming trend continues, the average temperature will be more than 4 degrees higher by the beginning of the next century. This will spell trouble for the snow monsters. Though they are only endangered now, it is possible that they will soon become extinct.
Okay, our first paragraph. Visitors and scientists have taken an interest in the Juhyo for many years. From our description yesterday, you have to admit, wow, this is a really strange but beautiful and unusual phenomenon. And that's when scientists like to get into the picture, so to speak. They want to understand, how does this happen? Why is this? Are there any other places where this phenomenon can happen?
Yeah, 没错。我们来看第一段第一句话，告诉你说了 visitors and scientists。老师刚刚开玩笑讲说，那如果说今天看到这么奇妙的场景，那这时候呢，科学家也要来参与咖了，好，要看看说到底怎么回事。所以这边他说，不管是游客啦、科学家啦 ，have taken an interest in the Juhyo for many years。好，对于这个树冰它的形成啦、背后的原因啊。对这些东西都非常感兴趣，你可以说 take an interest in something, or you can say take an active interest in something， 就是非常非常感兴趣，想要深入了解。
The first photo of a snow monster was taken in 1921, a little over 100 years ago. Someone photographed or took a picture of a snow monster. And if you had never heard of them before and you saw a picture of it, you might think, wow, there are really such things in Japan, living monsters made of snow.
没错，所以他告诉你说了，第一张这个拍下来这个雪怪的照片呢，当初呢是1921年的时候，第一张照片被拍到了。那想象一下，当初的人看到，哇，天哪！如果那真的是雪怪，那日本真的是个了不起的地方啊，很酷啊。
People have always been curious about how they can see these sights because they are very impressive. That's what we just tried to describe to you. If something is impressive, it affects you very deeply, very, not necessarily in a bad way, it could be, but here impressive means, wow, look at that. And you want to see more of it, not less of it.
没错，你看提到什么东西 is very impressive， 通常是让人觉得眼睛为之一亮，我觉得很惊艳，哇，怎么会这么厉害，这么漂亮 ？I want to see more of it。在这个地方，他提到说 ，People have always been curious about， 好，人们都非常非常感到好奇 ，how they can see these sights。好，意思就是指说他们对于怎么会能够看到这样的景象，他这个景象背后的成因感到好奇 ，because they are very impressive。这个 they 指的就是这些树冰。这些树冰实在是太奇妙，太让人印象深刻了。
However, some people are concerned that the snow monsters are not looking as good as they used to. In the information that we've already given you, and I think at the end of yesterday's lesson on the snow monsters, it said that there may be a problem in the sense that there won't be any more snow monsters, maybe, in the future. And that concerns people. If you're impressed by something and then it's gone, you feel empty.
Right.
That part of your that part of your experience may be gone. And so you feel like you're missing something, or maybe something is not so good as it used to be. And you can tell the difference. I hate to say this, but the Niagara Falls between Canada and the United States, on the United States side of the fall, the rocks and the water have started to not be a waterfall. It's trickling down now, and they don't know whether to repair this or let it be natural. So it concerns a lot of people.
所以说曾经有过的美景，突然之间它可能会消失的时候，你想说哇，好担心。老师刚刚提到的是那个尼加拉瀑布，就是在美国跟那个加拿大中间，它中间的那一块有一个尼加拉瀑布，非常非常大的。然后它的这个瀑布呢，在美国的那一边呢，感觉上它的那个角度已经有点，可能有些石块掉了，它的那个角度就没有像以前这么宏伟壮观了。到底是该把它修复成原本的样子呢，还是顺其自然呢？好，美国人还在想这件事情，所以这边也是一样啊。However, some people are concerned that 这边的 concern 指的是 worried， 很担心说什么呢 ？The snow monsters are not looking as good as they used to。跟以前比起来，这些雪怪的外观呢，好像不如以往了，可能变得比较小只了。到底是怎么回事呢？看起来没有那么壮观了。我们得要解决这个问题。
Well, the next paragraph that we're going to do next is what's going on with this. Are they finding ways to make it better, or is all lost? Stay tuned. Okay, now we're ready for our second paragraph. The Juhyo of the Zao Mountains require very special weather conditions to form, and climate change is beginning to have an effect on them. So these snow monsters in the Zao Mountain area, they require or need very special weather conditions. It's a natural phenomenon. It's not man-made. So if nature changes, the phenomenon may change as well. And that seems to be what's happening here, because the weather conditions that we talked about earlier have to be just right in terms of temperature, wind conditions, the snow conditions. Otherwise, you won't get them. Now, climate change is said to be increasing the temperature. It may change the temperature so that snow monsters, maybe there won't be any, or they won't look so good as they used to.
没错。所以第二段这个地方，它点出的最大的问题是在于这个气候变迁的关系。The Juhyo of the Zao Mountains， 好，就是我们的藏王连峰的树冰呢 ，require very special weather conditions to form， 啊，也就是我们第 第一天的时候，我们提到说风量啦，那个还有这个湿度啦，还有甚至是温度啊等等各式各样的东西，这些东西都要完美的时候才会出现嘛。可是现在你看，and climate change is beginning to have an effect on them。好，所以我们现在有了这个气候变迁的问题，所以说连带的也影响到了藏王树冰。
Okay, let's continue. Scientists and hikers have been keeping records of where and when the Juhyo used to be. So people interested in these snow monsters, scientists, of course, because it has to do with the weather and climate, and hikers, people like you and me who enjoy walking out into the wilderness areas and seeing these fantastic natural sculptures. They compare, well, I was here 20 years ago, and here are pictures or paintings or drawings of what we saw. You can see now it's not the same. There are still snow monsters, but they're not so good as before. Scientists will also do the same thing. They will have photographs and all kinds of record keeping to show the changes, not only there, but around the world.
没错，所以这边你就看出来了 ，scientists and hikers 就变成是科学家呢，还有这些登山游客呢 ，have been keeping records of 不断的去记录着 where and when the Juhyo used to be。这些树冰呢，以往的话是在什么地方在什么时间会出现，他们都有记录哦，都记得好好的哦。
In other words, as we have in your book, they then compared these records to the present situation. These records refer to the ones from before.
没错，所以这些记录留下来之后，他可以拿这些记录呢，跟现在的 the present situation 现在的这个树冰的状况来做比较。这边的 present 就是现在目前的状况，这是一个形容词。
They discovered that the habitat suitable for the Juhyo is getting smaller every year. They, again, scientists and hikers and other people, maybe journalists as well, or the public in general, they found that the habitat, this word means a natural area where certain plants or animals live and thrive or leave. So the conditions, I think, might be a better word if we're thinking of this in terms of the weather. The weather conditions are no longer suitable for the Juhyo because the area where you can see them is becoming smaller and smaller, which means there will be fewer and fewer snow monsters over a period of time.
没错，所以这个地方呢 ，habitat 这个字指的是栖息地嘛。为什么它要变成引号呢？是因为在这里的话，因为我们把这个 Juhyo 就是树冰，把它当成雪怪。当成生物来看待的时候，这些生物的栖息地，他故意用这个词，让我们觉得说好像有一种这些雪怪没有地方住啦那样的感觉。所以说 ，they discovered that 这些人也就是这些科学家们发觉到说，这个树怪的雪怪的这些栖息地怎么样呢？已经受到影响，已经不在 the habitat suitable for the Juhyo is getting smaller。他们居住的这个环境栖息地呢，慢慢越缩越小，而且是每年都越来越小的感觉哦。
Not only that, but the time period to see them is also getting shorter too. So here's another bad news item. Not only is you can't see it from these mountains over here anymore. That we used to be able to, we can't now, but you can still see them here. So it's a smaller area. It's also, remember December to March was the period when you could see them. Maybe now it's only January and February.
Yeah, 没有错。所以现在不只是区域变小了 ，the time period to see them is also getting shorter too. 好，时间上面原本说12月到3月都可以看得到，不好意思，12月没办法看到，只有1月、2月才看得到哦，那种感觉，非常非常悲伤的。
Okay, stay with us. We have one more paragraph before we finish our 2-day article on Juhyo. Okay, in Japan, the average temperature is now 1.3 degrees I assume this is C,
Celsius.
higher than it was in the early 20th century when he was born. Okay, so the average temperature has increased. It doesn't seem like much, but remember, if you had water in a bowl and you put it out outside on a porch or something, in the past, it might freeze over. Now, you can see water in it as well. It doesn't take much difference in temperature for something to change from a condition of being snow or ice into being water or later on steam and losing it completely.
没错，所以我们看最后一段这个地方的第一句话，它就比较20世纪初跟日本现在的平均温度的差异。他说 ，In Japan, the average temperature is now 1.3 degrees higher than it was in the early 20th century. 所以可能20世纪初的时候，它平均温度是这样，现在就比当初的平均温度要高1.3度。好，这个地方特别注意一下，1.3度 1.3 degrees 还是要加 s 的，好，要特别注意这件事情。然后说，哎，0.3也算吗？对，要算复数的形态哦，这是这句话的意思。
Now, if it's 1.0 or just 1, then we say degree. But less or more than 1, we add s.
Even 0 degrees, 它也会用这个 s 的这样加上去，很奇怪，很特别哈。
Okay, if the warming trend continues, the average temperature will be more than 4 degrees higher by the beginning of the next century. A trend is a change of condition moving in one direction. And what it means here is temperatures are increasing, even if only a little, in almost every area of our planet, even in the oceans, not only on the land. If that continues, the average temperature will increase by more than 4 degrees, again Celsius, we expect, by the beginning of the next century. Why am I not worried about that? That's still 70 or 80 years from now, double my age. No, I won't be here, but I'm concerned about it too. I would like to think that in the future, such a wonderful natural phenomenon can be enjoyed by people around the world year after year.
没错，所以在这边的话，他就讲说了 ，If the warming trend continues， 如果这样子逐渐暖化的趋势继续下去的话呢 ，the average temperature will be more than 4 degrees higher by the beginning of the next century. 现在的话是21世纪嘛，对不对？到了22世纪初的时候，我们可能还会比现在更高4度。OK， 那样感觉上就变成是，老师刚刚开玩笑说，我为什么不会担心这件事呢？其实他会担心，因为老师你别忘了还有儿子 Orion， remember？ 他们的话还是希望有机会能够让这个在这个环境里面看到更多的美景嘛。所以他又提到说，现在这个暖化趋势不断下去，不改变的这个趋势的话呢，到了下个世纪会比我们现在还要高4度，这真的很可怕。
This will spell trouble for the snow monsters, as we described earlier. Just a few degrees is the difference between rain and snow. And if you get a lot of rain, even in January and February, you're not going to get snow for your snow monsters. This spells trouble for. That phrase refers to is a big problem for.
有的时候你还有机会看到 spell disaster for someone， 这也是指说这是一个大麻烦，对他们来说是一个必须解决的问题。好 ，OK， 在这边他提到说 ，This will spell trouble for the snow monsters。对于这些雪怪，好，如果这个持续下去的话呢，会对这些雪怪造成很大的麻烦。
Though they are only endangered now, it is possible that they will soon become extinct. Now we're comparing snow monsters to how we would describe the extinction of a species of animal or plant. We have it now, but there are fewer and fewer of them all the time, so eventually there will be none. They will become extinct. Not yet extinct, but decreasing in number is what we call endangered. N is similar to in. They will be in danger. They are in danger now, but the last part of the story is really sad. There won't be any more at a certain time in the future.
没错，所以这句话里面最重要的2个字就是 endangered， 就是濒临绝种的。那另外一个就是 extinct， 就是真的是绝种了 ，they die out。好，这个地方的话，我们来看一下 ，Though they are only endangered now， 虽然他们现在只是濒临绝种、濒危的状态，老实说呢，现在把这个雪怪比喻成是那种稀有动物，那现在只是濒临绝种。It is possible that they will soon become extinct。如果这个暖化状况持续下去，真的有可能未来的某一天，他们会完全的灭绝，消失无踪。
Well, we hate to end on that sad note, but it's something that we people around the world do have to consider, that our effect on the environment, on the whole planet, we do affect it, and not always in a good way. So we need to seriously consider people's role in protecting this planet. Well, that's the end of our second day talking about the wonderful snow monsters of Japan. We hope you enjoyed and learned something from our 2 programs. Until the next time,
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.